Dealing with anxiety. This is an important topic which a lot of men need help with. A lot of men feel crippled by anxiety. They feel paralyzed by it. They don't know how to process that emotion. They feel like they're chained down, unable to move. It affects their career. It affects their social life. It affects their love life. It has an effect on every aspect of their lives. And I've dealt with anxiety in the past before. Not correctly, I'll be honest. It used to bother me. When I felt anxious, I didn't know what to do. I was confused. Like, what is the next step? How do I overcome this feeling, this weird feeling of extreme frustration? But you got to start tracing the root cause of that anxiety. And it takes a lot of self-awareness to do that. I've said before on the channel that self-awareness is a skill. A lot of men don't sit down and think. They're so busy, caught up with the day-to-day routines of life that they never actually sit down and reflect on how their life is going and what's bothering them. They often distract themselves with video games, pornography, perhaps alcohol, drugs. And so they never really sit down and reflect on what's causing their anxiety. And there's something usually. Sometimes it's very evident to other people except yourself. Maybe your dad sees how anxious you are and he knows what's causing it. But perhaps you can't quite see that. Which is why it's important to have people in your life that you can speak to when you're not quite feeling like yourself or when you feel bothered. But I also want you to take proactive action to ensure that you overcome this feeling of crippling anxiety. When I look back at my younger self and periods in my life where I had crippling anxiety, for me, it was caused by a lack of direction. For the longest time, I didn't know what I wanted to do in terms of my career. I felt like I was behind. All of my friends had a set path that they were following. Doctor, lawyer, this, that. This guy had a construction business, this guy, this. And I felt like I was an idiot. I felt like something was wrong with me because I didn't have something that I could tell other people, this is what I do. And that bothered me. And this is a male problem. Men need to have a sense of purpose. Otherwise, they will feel anxious. They will feel depressed. A lack of direction is a big one. And then what further exacerbated my anxiety was when I tried to deal with it in ways which, let's put it this way, were not productive. What we do oftentimes when we're very anxious is we distract ourselves with pleasure. So I would try and mask over this feeling of anxiety by doing things which provided me with a dopamine hit, but were not good for me. They were creating a deeper hole. They were making me feel even more anxious. This is video games, this is pornography, because they're so easily accessible, right? Especially pornography. I've spoken about porn so many times on the channel before. It destroys your self-esteem. It really does. It makes you feel even more anxious because after a 4-hour session of flicking through these sites, watching countless videos, trying to find the perfect scene, at the end of that marathon, you feel pathetic. You feel like a loser. So there you are, you don't have a direction, and now you spent 4 hours busting nuts all over yourself. I mean, how empowering are you going to feel? How empowered, are you going to feel after doing that? You don't look in the mirror and think, man, I'm one heck of a guy after 4 hours of porn, right? You can't even look at your own face. You're like, man, I don't even want to see the face of this sad wanker. And then you start talking down to yourself, which further makes the problem worse. So, look, there's a root cause for your anxiety. For me, it was a lack of direction. I didn't know what the hell I wanted to do. I felt like a loser. And it was comparing myself with other people. Comparison, as they say, is the thief of joy. I'm going to say that again. Comparison is the thief of joy. You are looking over the fence at what somebody else has got. And as a result, you are neglecting what you have. And we usually focus on the superficial shit. Oh, he's got a nicer car. He's got a slightly bigger house than me. He's got X, Y, Z. It's usually things, objects. It's never, oh, he's more fulfilled. Oh, he's in a very happy marriage. We don't usually focus on these things. I mean, sometimes we look at somebody and think, oh man, what? He's got to go and I don't. Of course, some of us think that as well. But most of the time, as men, it's about things, objects. Oh, he's got a nicer car. He's got a great job, good money coming in. And that makes us feel like we're not competent, which may be true, by the way. Sometimes we have to confront ourselves and be completely upfront with who we are. You can't hide from the reality of the situation. Sometimes you've been ignoring a very evident problem which can be solved pretty easily. Your comfort zone has kept you in the situation that you're in right now. You might have been at the same low-paid job for the last 5-6 years, and you haven't had the courage to quit that job because you're worried you might not find another one this easy. Imagine this. There's a lot of guys that don't want to find a higher paid job because they feel like their job right now is too easy. So they would sacrifice making 10, 20, 30, 40,000 a year extra because the job they have right now is easy. See, people like that are intimidated by growth. They don't want to have to do the work to become somebody completely different. But gentlemen, in order to attain things you've never attained before, you have to do things you've never done before. I said it in my previous video. Income will not far exceed personal development. You are at the level you're at right now because that's where your skill sets are currently at. Now, yes, if you go for a higher paid job, they expect more of you. So you better brush up. You better become more skillful in order to warrant being on that money, on that extra 30, 40, 50,000 a year. You have to become someone completely different in order to get a different outcome. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing again and again and again, expecting different outcomes. That's delusion. If you want the next 5 years to look different, you have to stop doing what you did the last 5 years. Where you are right now, gentlemen, is a result of the things that you have done or haven't done. Sometimes not taking that higher paid job, not moving to that other city is why you're stuck, crippled in this situation, because you're favoring comfort over growth. Nothing grows in the comfort zone, gentlemen. Nothing grows in the comfort zone. You have to dare to fail. You might be thinking to yourself, Ali, what if I move to a different city and it doesn't quite work out the way I intended, and then I have to go back with my tail tucked between my legs and I feel like an idiot? That's a risk you're going to have to take. Otherwise, stay where you are right now and stop complaining. I mean, come on. You want a different outcome, you have to do something different. And are you really that concerned with what other people have to say about you? In 100 years, we're all going to be 6 feet under. Every single one of us, me, you, everyone that you are so concerned about, we're all going to be 6 feet under. So why does their opinion cripple you that much? We're all going to be dead in 100 years. So go for it. Move to that city. Go for that higher paid job. Dare to fail. Now, look, when I say dare to fail, you don't fail. You always learn from every experience that you undertake. Every move, every action, there's always something that you learn. Now, there's a difference between being reckless and taking a new challenge, which seems a little scary. Being reckless is just impulsively making an instant decision without even a minute or two of reflection, right? That's an impulsive decision. But I want you to push yourself out of your comfort zone because you feel alive. I don't know about you guys, but when you do something you've never done before and you suck at it, there's actually a sweetness that comes from that as well, because you're like, oh shit, I'm not as good as I thought. I'm crap at this stuff. And then for me, my competitive spirit really turns on in that moment because I hate sucking at something. I want to be good. I want to be competent, whether it's a game of pool, whether it's rock climbing, whatever it is that you're doing, whether it's a new career that, you've never worked in before. Just being at the bottom, there's a certain sweetness. Because I know in my mind, and I've developed this over the years, I wasn't always like this, but in my mind, I know I'm going to sink my teeth into this and I'm going to make it work. I will do everything in my power because I don't like to lose. And some of you guys, you need to start hating the circumstance that you're in right now in order to change. As Ray Lewis said, you must be pissed off for greatness. It has to annoy you. You've been at the same dead-end job for 5 years. Does that not annoy you? It must annoy you. But for you right now, it's convenient, it's easy. That's why you're not growing. That's why you're not growing, because it doesn't hurt bad enough for you to do something about it. The moment it hurts bad enough is the moment you start taking proactive action to ensure that you no longer live that crap circumstance. Maybe you've had a car that's just been breaking down on you nonstop. A crappy car, the aircon doesn't work. Just constant noises coming from the front of the car, and you're just, you're like, I hate this fucking shit. This car's pissing me off. There comes a point where you have to say to yourself, enough is enough. I will no longer drive a piece of shit like this. You do everything in your power to ensure that you find the money to get a better car. You get in life what you tolerate. And if you're like, oh, okay, well, I guess it's okay for now, and you're just going to be stuck experiencing the same frustrations again and again and again. You must get angry enough to want to do something about it. All it takes is 6 months to a year, gentlemen. 6 months to a year of consistent action can change everything. It can change everything. So I want you to reflect on right now in your life. Start reflecting. Sit down, make yourself a cup of coffee, then sit down and start thinking about why you feel extremely anxious all the time. For most of us, it is a lack of direction, which is further exacerbated by the things that we do to distract ourselves. Porn, alcohol. So identify what that thing is. Is it the job that you hate? You're resenting yourself because you're in a company that treats you badly, doesn't pay you enough, and that's causing you anxiety and frustration. And if that is the thing, what are you going to do now? Do you have a plan? Or are you just going to continue to take the bullshit because you don't feel like anywhere else would accept you? I want you to start reflecting. I hope this video has helped. Because when I look back at my younger self, man, looking back now, I can identify that's what caused me frustration. I didn't go to university. I didn't have a set career path that I could follow, and I felt like an idiot because I didn't have something that I could sink my teeth into and make a career out of. But it's not just about the career. It's about circumstance you're tolerating right now. Maybe you're in a relationship with a woman that doesn't respect you and mistreats you on a consistent basis, and that's causing you constant anxiety. Well, what are you going to do? Just going to continue experiencing that same circumstance, or are you going to say, you know what, I don't deserve to be treated this way, and end the relationship? The power is in your hands. You are not a damsel in distress. You can do something about your situation. There is light at the end of the tunnel. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you give it a like, comment, let me know what you think down below. And if you want to book a coaching call with me, the link to the coaching call is down below. Thank you. See you soon.